news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
It has been said that beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, and this past weekend, young women on Grand Bahama got a lesson on what it means to be beautiful. A one-day workshop was held at the Freeport Bible Church. Italia Hall was there.
Each and every one of you are fearfully and wonderfully made by God, and that no matter what nobody say, you have to believe in yourself and know that you are beautiful.
Embracing Your Inner Queen was the theme of the girls' workshop, which caters to girls ages 5 to 15. The event was filled with class and elegance. Guest speaker Miss Grand Bahama Tiaja Lewis focused on the theme. She says embracing your inner beauty begins with the individual.
Knowing your value and loving the person that you see in the mirror, and I encourage the girls to love the person that they are, not trying to be like their friends and stuff like that. So I encourage them to be their self and to love the person that they see in the mirror.
Participant Delvin A. Backel says this event is important to the community because many young girls struggle to fulfill their purpose.
We feel like we should have to fulfill the status quo of what everyone thinks we should be. So it's important to come to these kind of events to remind yourself that you're perfect and you're okay within your own self, and you don't have to live for anyone else, you just have to live for yourself.
Young Renelle Johnson says, as soon as she heard that the event was being held, she knew she had to be there.
At school, a lot of people call me fat and like hairy gorillas, and so I said, okay, I have to come here to learn more about myself. And then what I learned here is that I can't let nobody put me down for wrong things. I gotta stand up and make the call and say, I am beautiful, I am perfectly made.
The event is a brainchild of former Miss Grand Bahama 2015-2016 Danielle Pratt. She says it was important for her to spearhead the initiative once again to help develop young girls in the community.
Last year I got a lot of feedback from parents and also children, and I believe that I helped them to embrace who they are, and they really understood it, and they got the feel of being who they are, embracing who they are as persons. So I felt that for me to reach out to more girls, I should make it an annual event.
It's Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
The Bahamas has lost a giant of a man, a patriot, a dedicated warrior, one who always wanted the best for his fellow countrymen. Today marked the first day that the body of the late Dr. Bernard Nottage was in state at the House of Assembly. While residents in New Providence continue to pay tribute to the former parliamentarian and Minister of National Security and Broadcasting, residents here on Grand Bahama are also reflecting on his legacy. Joan Davis-Roll reports.
The fallen former cabinet minister and member of parliament for the Bain and Grandstown constituency, Dr. Bernard Nottage, who died after a long illness on June 28th, is being described as a political warrior. His political journey began after rising to stardom as an elite Bahamian athlete and a prominent career as a medical doctor. Nottage left the PLP back in 1998, and in the year 2000, he was described as a man ahead of his time when he took a bold step to change the status quo, forming an alternative party called the Coalition Democratic Reform, also known as the CDR. Among his supporters was local businessman Winston Pinnock.
The Prime Minister controlled the calling of election, controlled whether you can get a business. So it's just too much power sent, and so the CDR at the time that Dr. Nottage led provided, it came as a vehicle to provide a breaking up of all of that monopoly, if you will, political monopoly.
In 2005, Dr. Nottage returned to the PLP fold, serving in many capacities as a senator and cabinet minister. Some residents reflect on Dr. Nottage's contributions to life and country.
Mr. Nottage was a very helpful man to the growth and development of the Bahamas. When you look at it, politics, sports, and if you've ever had the pleasure, opportunity of knowing or meeting Mr. Nottage, he was a very personable person. So, he's what I know of him and meeting him, I know him to be a very helpful fellow. So the country really is mourning the loss of a great hero.
Dr. Nordage was a very, very good doctor, and I was a student during the days when he was in practice. I think he is responsible for trying to get half of the young men in this country together by bringing together the shock treatment program, and for that I'm grateful to him. And really, I have nothing more to say except good about Dr. Nordage because I'm a retired nurse.
I believe that the contribution that he made throughout the years to the nation is very, very positive. And of course, no matter what you do in service, there are going to be those who are for you, there are going to be those who would have been against you. But nevertheless, we have to serve, and we must fulfill our purpose here on the earth. And I believe that everyone who would have known him would agree that he tried to walk in a way to fulfill that purpose for his life.
Actually, I think BJ was more like Ingram than Pinlin or Christie. He was very, very strong. He was articulate. He was very knowledgeable. Had a wealth of knowledge about governing and the country, and then when you combine that with his passion for wanting to see change and reform, I think he was a great Bahamian, a great patriot, and someone that I think history will speak well of.
I'm determined that before I die, we change the condition of the people I represent.
The Bernard Jonathan Nordage, dead at the age of 71. Joan Davis Roll, ZNS Network News.
And now it is time to ask the doctor.
Hi and welcome. Today I'll wrap up the discussion on heat stroke, a serious health risk during the summer months. As you know, anyone can develop a heat stroke, but some persons are at greater risk of suffering from this dangerous condition. Some factors that can increase your risk include age. The very young and the very old are most vulnerable. Exertion in hot weather, like playing sports or doing manual labor, can greatly increase the risk of heat stroke as well. Other factors, such as sudden exposure to hot weather, certain medical conditions, for example, heart or lung disease, a lack of air conditioning, some medications like those used to treat blood pressure might also increase your risk. If any of these risk factors I mentioned apply to you, take all the precautions you can to avoid heat stroke, including finding an area to cool off for a few hours, like a public library, a shopping mall, or a movie theater. Drink plenty of water to stay hydrated and avoid exerting yourself in the heat. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and this has been Ask the Doctor.
Ricardo Lightburn is up next with a check on sports.